How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Family. We're back with another FPL deadline stream. Today, title of stream is Backing Liverpool. So at the moment, we have 3 Liverpool players. The last time we did a stream, I didn't have 3 Liverpool players. Well, no, yeah, I didn't, because I sold Van Dijk, and I've got another Liverpool player in. I just think they're the best team at the moment, so alongside City at least. So why not back them? Just makes the most sense. One of the games is versus Arsenal, where I don't think Arsenal will get much joy. So let's go for it. But yeah, we've made a couple of transfers. We did them last night before the price changes and all that sort of stuff. I was pretty convinced on what I wanted to do. So yeah, we've gone ahead and done that. So hopefully they pay off here. But we do have some risks in the team. We'll see that when we cross that bridge and show the team. But I just wanna. I think the team can have a pretty good week. Salah's probably gonna be over 200%, but because it's gonna be managers triple captaining him, I'd be very shocked if he wasn't over 200%. But hopefully Liverpool can perform, and knocking Arsenal down a peg actually helps United. Funnily enough. So yeah, hopefully our team ends up doing well this week, and then it's the free hit next week in Gameweek 30, because we're definitely free hitting in that because we don't have players to play in that one. So yeah, hopefully things go well for that. We're going to take a look at the normal things as well. We're going to take a look at the goals imminent table, captaincy table, and players to captain against table, as well as a bunch of other FPL chat. Keep an eye on Twitter if there's any Liverpool news, because they are the early kickoff today, the 12:30 kickoff. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if there's any news around that. And yeah, and as always, we are partnered with Fantasy Football Scout, so we'll take a look at that and what they have to offer in the members area. So, Fantasy Football Scout, as you can see, has a bunch of different things to offer. It's got heat maps, got the Rate My Team tool. It's driven by Opta stats, members articles, members videos. Excuse me, I knew that yawn was coming. I'm gonna have to drink some more water. But they have a bunch of different things in there that are gonna help elevate your FPL game. We're just gonna have a couple of tables today, as we normally do in the deadline stream. That you can see, just so you can see how useful and what tables I use on a week-to-week basis to make my FPL decisions. And the members area is actually going through a new beta as well. I'm still using the old members area, but there's a new look to it as well, and you can check that out because you can use both at the moment. So make sure to check it out. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Iowa says don't back the early kickoff, but what if the early kickoff is Salah? That's what I have to say. What if the early kickoff is Mo Salah? Kind of hard not to. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people have him captain as well. Yeah. No, I think so. For context, the 2 transfers that we did make. So we originally had Reece James in this spot, and we had Bowen here, who looks like he's going to be out until maybe till the second leg of the Sevilla game. We're still not sure of the extent of it, but we got rid of Bowen. We brought in Kulusevski because he's just, I really like how he plays, and we brought in Robertson because we wanted triple Liverpool. So we are in a situation where we could get burnt this week. Last week, we could have had a much higher green arrow. So for those who don't know, there's on livefpl.net, a very useful site where you can check your live rank basically as the game week's going on. There's a safety score which basically shows you um, what the minimum score you need required for your team at least to not get a red arrow basically. And mine was 102 points. Now I ended up with 107, which is good because that means I got a green arrow, but it could have been much higher. If you look at the players that did score, you had Raul Jimenez, who I didn't have. You had Harry Kane, who I didn't have. You had Firmin Son, who I didn't have. You had Kulusevski, who I didn't have. You had Matt Doherty. You had all the Villa defenders. You had Danny Ings. You had other Chelsea defenders like Thiago Silva and Chalobah, who I didn't have. Um, you had Sadio Mane, who I didn't have. You had Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli. Lacazette was another one. There were so many players in single game weeks that scored as well as double game week players. Kai Havertz I didn't have either. Mason Mount I didn't have either. Like all of those players hit crazy totals. Actually, I wonder if I can bring it up and I can show you kind of like what the damage was. Let me see if I can bring it up. Apparently, this is just news that Dean Henderson is going to be starting in goal for Man United today, which could be a bit of an issue. With De Gea taking ill, apparently. So let me see if I can bring this across. So can I just plonk this here? Yeah, so you should be able to see that. What programming language do I use? In terms of what? I mean, I used to do programming, and it would have been in C, but I don't know what you mean by that question. I'm confused. Triple Spurs, and I made good moves. Yep, I think so. I think they're fine. So there's any couple players I'm worried about. Is literally Kane, Son, Saka. Martinelli will be high end, but yeah. But like, look at the players that burnt me. Like Broja only got 4 points, but I still lost a lot. Kane was very bad. Jimenez was very bad. Havertz ended up being decently bad. Mount ended up being decently bad. Ramsey getting 6 points in both was still bad enough. Son was bad. Saka was bad. Saw was bad. Cody was bad. Slice was bad. Digne was bad, even though he only got 6 points. Could have way more. Like I could have been on a red arrow had Broja hit once. Like, and that's even with Reece James captained, even with Eitner's 9 points, even with Trent Alexander-Arnold, even with Coutinho. So, yeah, it's pretty useful how it shows you like how many places you've lost, and it shows you like effective points against you. Like when you have a lot in the 3s and 4s, that's not great. So, yeah. So yeah, apparently Dean Henderson is going to be starting for Manchester United today. And just trying to see if there's anything. there's anything of any news that would be of importance. I see a lot of people talking about Virgil van Dijk because he wasn't pictured in training a couple of days ago. I mean, players do have days off, by the way, from training, or can request for days off at least. Um, uh, 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 uh. Apparently, it's Dean Henderson's birthday as well, so that's a nice birthday gift if he gets to play in goal for United, I guess. Feels nasty to have Rafinha on your bench. I would like to know your team if Rafinha's on your bench. I would really like to know. But like for me, if Cancelo doesn't play, I'd be happy with Dennis coming in. I think like Southampton have conceded a few goals, so Dennis coming in for me wouldn't be the end of the world. But I won't know that until Monday, because Dennis plays before Man City. But I'm pretty sure if Cancelo's fit, like if he's not ill, he will play. So not the end of the world. Smith Rowe, I expect one of the games he'll probably start and one he won't. Because Arsenal plays Sunday, Wednesday. So, yeah. Okay, so you got Ramsdale, Cancelo, Trent, Tierney, Doherty, Keane. Who's Keane? Michael Keane? Saka, Salah, Kulu, Kane, Jimenez. Yeah? Yeah, I can understand why he's on your bench. I can understand why he's on your bench. That makes sense. Maybe you can argue playing Rafinha over Cancelo, but Cancelo's so good. Just make sure he's first on your bench, I would say, because can't expect much better than Rafinha to be first off. Because like one of two things can happen with Cancelo. He's either gonna be fine and he starts, or he's ill and he's not gonna be in the team at all. There's probably gonna be no halfway house there. Just gonna update the transfers used this week. So 2 out of 1 because we took a -4. Yeah, that team's definitely good enough to where Rafinha probably would be on the bench, to be honest. The only contentious one you would say would probably be maybe Jimenez, but excuse me, but he plays Everton, who conceded 5 to Spurs, so yeah, would make a lot of sense to me. So if we look at my team currently, what weaknesses does the team have? Well, my strike force is awful at the moment. Wolves much better with Jimenez? Yeah, I would say so. Jimenez is not the goal-scoring threat that he used to be, but he still links play well. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't understand people taking out Rafinha, like selling him completely. Because he plays in Gameweek 30 as well, right? No Kane or Son for you is danger zone. Yeah, Kane, Son, Saka. Those are the three. My reasoning behind it is, one, I had no easy way to get to either of Kane or Son without taking a -8, and I didn't want to do that. Hey Zodiac, how's it going? There was no easy way for me to do it, so if I had... so I'm going to revert my team back to what it was. So, Reece James and... now you have to remember I got Bowen in a slightly different price as well. But I think I had 1.4 million, so just imagine I have 0.2 extra to play with. What I was initially going to do is something like this. I was going to go Reece James to Doherty, Watkins to Kane, Bowen to like Gordon. That would have been for a -4. But then I would have still had no Kulusevski, who was the main one I wanted, because I think he's arguably their best player apart from Kane. I would still not have triple Liverpool. And then I would have no money to get Reece James. I could then do Rafinha to Kulusevski. Yeah, I could. But Rafinha plays Norwich. Like, I would feel like I've always been like fixtures. You know, I've always been a fixtures kind of person. That'd have been for a -12. So I'd be getting rid of Rafinha versus Norwich. I'd be getting rid of Bowen and James, who don't play. I'd be getting rid of Watkins. And again, I still wouldn't even be helping myself that much for Gameweek 30, right? Because I would have Ramsdale 1, Doherty 2, Nuri 3, because my other 3 defenders don't play. Smith Rowe maybe 4, Rafinha 5, Coutinho 6, Kane 7. So I'd still only have 7 players. I would have taken a minus... yeah, because if I get rid of Rafinha to Kulusevski would have been taking a player out for a player that's playing in that game week anyway. That would have been for a -12. Like, no. And yeah, Kane could hurt me. He definitely could. But if we're looking at the teams that they have to play, so I'll have him in the double or the blank, because I'm free hitting that week. Newcastle at home. That's a fixture that scares me. Brentford away. That fixture also scares me. In terms of like how much damage they could do. Aston Villa and Brighton, I think they'll be fine. I think they should be fine anyway. 35 I'm wildcarding. So we'll see. Can I ask for advice? Of course. Be my guest. Just gonna refresh this transfer screen just so we don't have any messages across the top. Messages. But yeah, Saka, Kane, Son, those 3. And anyway, I even put Martinelli in there because he's gonna be decently owned as well. If you were to bench, if your bench was Dubravka with 2 games, Jimenez, Slice, and Coutinho, would I bench boost? No. No. I would not. And the reason being is because Slice could be, from what I've seen from Wolves fans, he is probably going to be the one that is going to get rotated next. And that could be this week. That's the only reason I say that. Because everyone liked Willie Bolly's performance, but Kilman, they say they wanted Kilman to come back in instead of Seiss. Yeah, that's what they were. That's what a lot of Wolves, from what I saw. Again, I could, again, the manager picks whoever he wants, right? Um, but yeah, they were looking to see if they could have Bolly, Cody, Kilman as their back three, and then Seiss would miss out. They'd have Johnny as one of the wing backs, and they would have whoever else is the other wing back. But no, I wouldn't bench boost that. What would be Wolves' fixtures in 31? Well, in 32 they have Newcastle away. Who else did you have? Coutinho. Yeah, I'd probably wait. The thing is, right, is that with my strategy with the bench boost and wildcard combo, with wildcard 35, bench boost 36, or at least as close to that as possible, you can set yourself up for a really good bench boost. But the likelihood is that your team is going to have a lot of doublers anyway going into 36, because basically every team is going to double in some capacity. Whether you have the most optimal ones, who knows? But more than likely you're going to have a decent bench boost going into 36 anyway. So yeah. Oh, I missed was. He said, when do you think the rest of the double game weeks will be announced? I'm actually curious. So when's 36? We got April. 36, since it's the beginning of May, more than likely 36 will be announced after the FA Cup semi-finals. I would think FA Cup semi-finals. So the FA Cup semi-finals are going to be in 33. So the likelihood is once we figure out who's in the final after this game week, we'll be able to figure out when what game week 36 is going to look like. And in order to figure out what we're going to find out here, where there's most likely going to be like Wolves, Leeds will blank, but some teams will have a double as well, like in there as well. Like Everton will probably have doubles for like days, but Everton's not very good at the moment. We'll probably figure out after this game week, they'll probably announce the April schedule. Like the full schedule, because we don't have any of these fixtures yet. They'll probably announce it maybe over the international break. I'm not too sure of the timing, but they'll definitely announce it. We should know like a game week or two in advance for sure. For that sort of stuff. But yeah, the 36 one we'll probably know. He was sorry, just looking at Twitter to see. Yeah, it looks like Dean Henderson's going to be playing in a goal for for Man United, Ladine Henderson. But Yeah, I got sidetracked a little bit there. But yeah, so basically that's kind of how they do it. It's less crazy now because there's not as many games to reform. But I would say make sure to follow Ben Krellin on Twitter. Um, he might not be as active at the moment, Ben Krellin, just because he had some family issues that he posts about on Twitter. So go and send him some love at Ben Krellin. But he does great work. And then also the Planet FPL. James from Planet FPL dives into all that fixture stuff as well. They were recently on FPL Black Box as well. So I would say, yeah, make sure to check them out. Yeah. It happens. Sucks, but yeah. Been through. I'm pretty sure everyone's been through something like that where they've not been able to see a family member anymore due to the cycle of life, as it were. But yeah, back to FPL. Lost your mom 3 years ago. Yeah. All we can say is we hope they're in a better place, is what we can say. I'm not going to get into all that sort of that rabbit hole. That's a little bit more deep. But yeah. Let's get back to FPL. So Ben says took out King and Bruno for Kane and Kulusevski. Great transfers, I think. You still have Bruno Fernandes in your team, which is interesting. Must have held on to him for a long time. But yeah. So the players that can burn me this week, as mentioned, Kane, Son, Saka. What is my reasoning behind not going anywhere near them? I could have easily got Saka instead of Kulusevski, but then I wouldn't have got Kulusevski, right? So my reason for picking Kulusevski is because I think Spurs are potentially going to be better and more consistent. Because for this week and this week alone, I have a sneaking suspicion that Arsenal are not going to win either of their games. I predicted them to lose both. I think they'll lose to Leicester and Liverpool. I think they're definitely losing to Liverpool for sure. Because I think just anytime Arsenal, at least under Arteta, when they go up against someone that isn't Man City, especially when they go up against Liverpool, they just get played off the park and it's not even close. And I think Liverpool can definitely do that. Leicester is a little bit different, with Jamie Vardy being out, but for some reason I just think that Leicester are going to get a result. And I think this could potentially be the kind of make or break point for Arsenal. If they go and beat Leicester and they get a result versus Liverpool, they should be fine for top 4. If they start to drop, then they will start to feel the pressure. Because when you think about it, if they were to lose or drop points to Leicester, lose to Liverpool, their 2 games in hand are versus Spurs and Chelsea, and they lose those 2, which they easily could, they're going to have teams breathing down their necks. So yeah. Did Leeds look good lately? I think Leeds are a weird one, to be honest. I just think that they're a championship team with a couple of decent players. Like Rafinha, Phillips, Llorente, maybe Harrison. Like, but the rest of the team is like they're championship players, right? So, but yeah, I would go like unless you had like just Rafinha would be the only player I'd have from Leeds. Ben's team this week is Ramsdale, Rudiger, Lamptey, interesting, Trent, Livramento, Kulusevski, Saka, Coutinho, Salah, captain, Kane, and Jimenez. I think that team looks good. Not sure to play Rafinha or Keane. I think Keane has a chance of keeping a clean sheet at home versus Everton, to be honest. I think it's possible. I mean, they have 2 home games. They could keep a clean sheet, maybe. He does play for Everton, though, which means Everton, that's not great, but hey, who knows? Wolves don't score many goals, so there's a chance. Yeah, I think they will struggle as well, Arsenal, but I think Tottenham will disappoint as well, even though I've got 3 Spurs players. I have a sneaking suspicion that Spurs could get potentially destroyed or beaten by Man United today, and then like have kind of like a okay game versus Brighton. Although I think they like Spurs probably have on form the second best front 3 in the league, behind Liverpool, Salah, Mane, Diaz. I would say maybe even the best front 3. But yeah. Hey bud, out and about. Best of luck in the game week. My Twitter team. You tagged me in it. Oh, I can check it. Let me see. That's not what I wanted to open. Let me check it. Yeah, so you have Dubravka, Trent, Doherty, White, Son, Kulusevski, Rafinha, Salah captain, Saka, Jimenez, and Lacazette with Sa, Broja, Cody, and Digne on the bench. Yep, I think that's fine. I think the bench order's fine. Mono. Yeah, I think that's fine. And I liked it as well. So if I would have said make some changes, I would have probably commented. Your biggest worry, I think, this week is Kane. You have to hope that Kane plays DM and it's just feeding the ball in behind and to Kulusevski or Son, and then they pass it to each other. That's what you have to hope for. That's what you have to hope for. Let me just see if there's any other. Let's see if there's anything else here while I'm on Twitter. I see TalkSport talking the usual nonsense, saying that Newcastle's going to be in the top 4 next season. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. Yeah, Samuel Luckhurst, who's writes for, I think, Manchester Evening News, I believe, if I remember correctly. He's saying that Dean Henderson's starting this week too, so yeah. Right, let's get back to the question in the chat. We pick Rafinha any day of those 2. I think Keane has the double, but yeah. I mean, it's just something not right with Leeds, to be honest. But remember, Everton at home's different. They're also playing against Wolves, who don't score many. I mean, they scored 4 past Watford, but that was also at home, so it's a bit of a different story. Do I play Dennis? or Lamptey in the double. We'll probably just play Lamptey just because he has a double. Maybe picks up a cheeky assist or something. I got Doherty because of the returns. I think they will have 0 clean sheets this game week. Will Spurs keep a clean? I don't think Spurs will keep a clean sheet versus United. Will they keep a clean sheet versus Brighton? Maybe. That's probably the more interesting one, I think. I think Liverpool keeps a clean sheet versus Brighton. And Zodiac says all those accounts were deleted. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Which Liverpool players are rumored? I think it was Van Dijk, Konate, and Thiago. But I think it was Thiago maybe because he's injured. Konate was injured or something. I don't know. Keane Thunderbolt today? Yeah. That's what you want. Yeah, Keane is a double. Keane plays Wolves and Newcastle at home. Yeah. I think Liverpool will double clean sheet if Lacazette is out. I don't think Lacazette's out. I think he just had he posted a picture on Instagram where he had some scratches on his foot or something like that. From Thomas Partey tackling him or something like that. Konate I think is confirmed out, not 100% sure. Yeah, it was Thiago, Virgil, Van Dijk, Konate, but I think that was just because they weren't seen in training pictures. I mean, I can go check Liverpool's site and Liverpool's Twitter and see if they have anything posted. Let's see, Liverpool. Nah, I don't see any training photos. I don't see any training photos. Yeah. I do not see any training photos. Yeah. Nothing there. I don't know if you already answered, but would you pick Dennis over Watkins on the bench? Yes, I would. I have Dennis first on my bench too, so if Cancelo doesn't play, Dennis comes in first. West Ham are probably stingier. They're probably going to want to get a good... For West Ham, it's a bit tough this week, to be honest. Why it doesn't make sense to me. Dennis is potentially playing an easier defense. And Roy Hodgson will probably see this game as potentially to get a point in. Also, Dennis is on the goals imminent table. So easy way to segue there into Fantasy Football Scouts members area. Dennis on the goals imminent table, which means he's due. He had a couple of chances. Who did he play last week? Was it Wolves? I think it was Wolves. So either Wolves the game before that. Arsenal, maybe. No, it was Arsenal. He could have potentially scored. Villa's attack is massive at the moment. Ings and Watkins together would continue to defeat them. Yeah, that's true. But I think a lot of that stems from Coutinho, and it feeds into Ings more than it does Watkins, unfortunately. I mean, they're both away fixtures. I mean, if your team's, playing, then they're not going to come off your bench, right? Yeah, my only reasoning is literally Dennis is on the goals imminent table, so that's it basically. Ings is Dennis is on the goals imminent table, and also just can't I cannot take another Watkins yellow card. It is like I've had Watkins for the last. I mean, I've had it for longer than 3 weeks, but he's literally got a yellow card in every game for the last 3 weeks. I've had Watkins for 3 yellows in a row, and I've had Aitnori for 3 out of his 4 yellows of the whole season, and 3 of them came in the last 4 game weeks. Or 4 games, rather. It's actually driving me insane. D says triple Captain Salah this week. I would think so, to be honest, if you have it. It's team dependent, obviously, but yeah. I would say triple Captain Salah this week is probably one of the better chances you're going to be able to use it for the remainder of the season. I used mine when he had Norwich and Leeds a few game weeks ago, but yeah, I would say this week he could do some damage. Brighton aren't playing great, and Arsenal are typically not very difficult for Liverpool to turn over. So I feel like Aitnori is beginning to struggle lately. No, I think Aitnori is fine. I mean, look at the games that Aitnori plays in. I mean, I'm just gonna check. So Aitnori starts, they win 4-0. Aitnori starts, they have a close game versus Arsenal, 2-1. Aitnori didn't start, they lost to Palace. Aitnori didn't start, they won versus West Ham. Okay, fine. Aitnori starts, they beat Leicester. Aitnori starts, they beat Spurs. Aitnori doesn't start, they lose to Arsenal. Aitnori does start, they beat Brentford. Aitnori starts, they beat Southampton. Like, just in these last, what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games. There's only one game in here where Aitnori, when he started, they lost. So, when they play Marseille, they don't typically win. Is all I'm saying. Mind you, Aitnori gets booked every game, so what do I know? But yeah, out of the last like 9 games, only one as Aitnori. So when Aitnori hasn't started, there's only one game that they've won, and when Aitnori has started, there's only one game he's lost, and he's got a few clean sheets in those. So it is what it is. I think he's better than Martial. I just think Martial defensively is awful. I just don't think he's good. But again, the shuffling around at the back, the lack of Nelson Semedo maybe probably doesn't help them. So who knows? I think his placement is beginning to be kind of weird, and I know they're getting clean sheets. Yeah, I mean he's just going to be attacking, right? This is kind of how it works, and they kind of rely on the back three and the 2 shielding midfielders. That's why Neves is so important. I still have the wild card. When should I use it? It depends on what chips you have. D Sarkar. I think if you have the bench boost still, probably save the wild card as late as you can until game week 35 and use the wild card then to set yourself up for game week 36, which is going to be a big double game week. That would be my suggestion. If you don't have the bench boost, I would say wild card whenever you feel like your team needs it, basically. You can save the wild card for 33 or 36. You can also free hit in those weeks too. But yeah, if you have the bench boost, I would say save it until 35, the wild card. If you don't, then wild card whenever you feel like your team needs it. I would not use the wild card in game week 30 though. I would free hit that if you have to. Chambers, do you think we overlooked him? I was surprised to see him at 4.2 million. I think he just came in literally because Courtney House was not Courtney House. Um, Konza got injured, and we thought Courtney House would come in or something like that. Let me actually check Villa. Excuse me. No, all the defenders are fit, but I think it was maybe just because of quick yeah, I think Courtney House is fit. So, yeah. So maybe it was just that like 1 week or two where he just like wasn't available, and then they just brought in Chambers. Yeah, I think that's probably the case. Ben Dinnery doesn't expect Havertz to. So you're saying that he's expecting Havertz to not start or to start? I would expect Havertz to start if it was me, because Havertz he scored like 4 and 2 or something like that. I would expect Havertz to start. If it was me and I was Tuchel, I would play. He'd probably play Mendy in goal. He might have to play somebody. Oh, not start. He gives Lukaku the easy game and saves Havertz for the Champions League. Well, they're up 2-0 in the Champions League tie, so does he really need his best team to win? Probably not. But I think Havertz can play with Lukaku. Excuse me. Yeah, he'll probably play something like somebody makeshift at right wing back. He might play Alonso this game if he's fit. He'll play Chalobah, Thiago Silva, Rudiger will come back in. He'll play 2 central midfielders, whoever those are going to be. Probably not Conte and Kovacic. He'll probably play like Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek or something. And then whoever in the front three. Would they risk Champions League since they can't win the Premier League now? Yeah, but they still got to pick up points, right? Chelsea still have to pick up points because with their club's current situation, which is a bit weird at the moment, they could see a points deduction, which would be a bit of a problem for them. So, the teams under top 3 is horrible. Well, if I go and bring up the Premier League table. So, currently Chelsea is on 27 matches played. And Arsenal 25 matches played. Let's say Arsenal, I'm just going to say Arsenal lose both the games because they are against Chelsea and Spurs. Chelsea would be 11 points ahead of Arsenal in that instance, and Arsenal will have a game in hand by that calculation. So let's say they won that game, then they'd be 8 points ahead. If Chelsea got a 9-point deduction, which is possible based on the fact that all their stuff's been frozen, because that's how like administrative things work, they would be below Arsenal. So, and they would only be a point, like a point or two ahead of United as it stands now. So, yeah. That's how I see it anyway. Yeah, they could lose 9 points or more. That's the thing. And that depends on how the sale of the club happens. It depends on a bunch of different things. But when all your financial means are frozen, and administrative things start to linger, that becomes a problem. As an example, Derby County, who I'm not sure where they are actually. I think they might be close to actually staying up, which is the crazy thing, because they had a 21-point deduction. They play today. Ooh, they play Bournemouth today. Bournemouth the third. That could be a tough game for them. But yeah, Derby County, they have 12 games I think left, and they're 5 points behind Reading. And Reading have a game in hand. So I don't think Derby's going to stay up, but if they didn't have that 21 points deduction, they would be comfortably sitting mid-table. They'd be like a couple points behind like West Brom and Forest and stuff like that. And then a win or two then, and then you're looking at they would be in the potential spots for promotion, or at least fighting for it. James from Planet FPL, he's done his transfers. Robertson, Kulusevski, and Saka into his team, and he's gotten rid of Cody, Rafinha, and Trossard with Salah captained. He's got De Gea and Foster, so Foster's going to play for him if De Gea is not available. His team is Trent, Robertson, Rudiger, Tierney, Cancelo, Salah captain, Saka, Kulusevski, Fraser, and Kane. He's got Borussia Weghorst on the bench, though, which is that could be a yikes for him. But we'll keep Twitter open. Thoughts on deleting of the FPL accounts? To be honest, I don't really want to give an opinion. I do have an opinion, but I'm not going to give an opinion publicly, to be honest. I'll just say that basically some things sometimes you have to make common sense. And this may or may not have been one of those things where they may have potentially picked the wrong thing to do. Personally. That's all I'll say. Yeah, Derby's fighting. Derby is fighting. Wayne Rooney's doing magic down there. Hey, they might still be able to get out of it, and if they do, you can arguably say that's probably one of the best achievements in football history, just genuinely. Yeah, you feel sorry for the people that are genuinely playing FPL. I will agree with that. Yes. Because they just wake up one day and all of a sudden, oh look, I can't play FPL. You know? That I will say that sucks. I just imagine you just like it's like the teams that got hacked. You just wake up one day and all of a sudden you have a minus 600 on your team or something, right? It's like, you know, same sort of ordeal. It sucks. Both situations. Oh well, one situation I would argue is way easier to prevent than the other. Obviously, one situation is literally FPL took it in their own hands. The other one is your password wasn't good enough or something, basically. So, and as an IT person, I know a lot about people's passwords not being great. I've seen some pretty bad ones. Yeah, top 10K, yeah. Well, that's why you have to have a password that's absolutely ridiculously long. and complicated, and only you would know. And you try not to use the same password for multiple things if you can avoid it. And I also try to use a password that's completely different to like something that would be like FPL related. So like I wouldn't use like a password. So like let's say hypothetically I'm making a new FPL team. My password wouldn't be like Premier League 123 or something like that in lowercase. Like I wouldn't do that. That just doesn't make sense. Because that would be something that could be easily guessed. Because like, I'm logging into a fantasy Premier League account. Maybe their password is Fantasy Premier League. It's so complicated, I don't even know my password anymore. Pilot Flame 123. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do anything like that. Like that's just stupid, right? Or like, let's say if like you know your email is mrfpl@gmail.com, right? And then you just put your password as Mr. FPL. Like, you know, 123 after names is very, yeah, because it's just easy to just run your finger along the keyboard, right? Less than 3 minutes, so what I'm going to do while I'm thinking of it is I'm just going to take a screenshot of my team really quickly because I do not believe I have done so. And I'm going to need it to post it on Twitter. There we go. Crop that, make it look professional. The one nice thing is, though, is that I think FPL are getting two-factor authentication for next season, which is going to be a big help. That is definitely a big help. So, I use two-factor authentication for a lot of things. Twitter, YouTube, my Gmail, Reddit even, Twitch, bunch of different things. So, right. So we have like a less than a minute and a half here. Captaincy against table. We'll run through that really quickly. Norwich and Leeds and Wolves are actually at the top. So if you're playing any of those teams, probably good. So again, Rafinha playing against Norwich. Probably play him if I had the ability to do so. And then players to captain. I'm just going to do Kane versus Salah just because that was the main debate. And we'll just check the numbers really quickly. Over the last 4 matches, Salah's better. I mean, we didn't expect anything else, but Kane's been performing better, though. 5 goals from 6 big chances. Salah 3 goals from 6 big chances. Salah with slightly more created chances. Kane with slightly more big created chances. Salah with more shots inside the box. Plain and simple, I think Salah is the best captain. So, Coutinho to Diaz for a -4. Sure. Why not? But yeah, this is the team at the moment. Ramsdale, Rudiger, Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Smith Rowe, Rafinha, Salah with the captaincy, Kulusevski with the vice captaincy just because I don't want to put on 2 Liverpool players if I don't have to. Coutinho and Weghorst with Mendy, Dennis, I almost said Diaz, Watkins and Aitnuri on the bench. Coutinho hole confirmed. I hope so. That'd be good. That'd be nice. That would be nice. But yeah, that should be the deadline. Let me do a little refresh here, and yeah, as you can see, all of the stuff has gone away. The game is updating. So yeah, thank you all for joining us on the deadline stream. Let's move over to the big screen. So that was the Game Week 29, double Game Week 29 deadline stream. Hopefully, we can get some points this week. I just hope that Salah's not over 200% owned, just so I can at least be happy about my captain. But he's probably going to be in the. It's going to be a few triple captaincy chips flying this week, especially because of the fact that if you missed out on him and we wildcarded in 26 or 25, whenever it was, you're probably going to be using it this week. But yeah, make sure to like, favorite, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, PilotFlame226 on all platforms. You know where to find me. But yeah, next week is going to be free hit week for me. So make sure to check out for that. I'll probably do a free hit guide because I'm going to be having to do my own. So yeah, make sure to be check us out for that one. And until the next one, take care.